last week yeah ene ba be ka kire mo sa asama eja shake one things re ekwo kan ye na enam so mo de ko attach video a God's General ekoko ye ewo social media so enti enam so ama je say ye twa God's General asum ama ni po twa God's General asum Alhaji Papa Angola Ghana Police Service for action ama ye hu po so bo gyan no ama ma ye peace conference ewo ho IGP aba be kasa Sheikh Usman Nur Shaributu ekasa ma for Sheikh Aremeyao enso aba be kasa na so God's General say video bi a we hu social media so sa IGP akọ Sheikh Usman Nur Shaributu aso ye ama just Alhaji Papa Angola butuwa no mo pa chaw ewo ho no ojetu enye yie open justice God's General so ja asem no ma nka aha grievances 24 message so be me subscribe button so no wa click the bell notification icon so asem ne say chewadwe ne mo me kwa asem ne so ni na ne say on the 20th of August last week Thursday Friday mo baby and a video be about social media. So I'm Gossip 24 cry share our Twitter page or so follow you bet you follow ye Gossip 24 _ our Twitter. Yeah share our honomo. When I say I'm a comment we brain buy a man for crab business say aden Alhaji Papa Angola. Apologize say aden IGP etiwo IGP making sure say or may you see law no any some more temper justice mercy aden ya bo bi asom our police headquarters na IGP ti one more and na miss you. National Chief Imam to what person IGP ye dey. Alhaji Papa Angola they saw a patch of show remorse. National Chief no say debi. Unhu video no share video no.
Ba tino kuma shi kuma yana mishi godiya. Amma IGP amma shi na shi da shi wani abu daban. According to your father, he said, may Allah continue to strengthen you. That the path you have taken, path of mediation, reconciliation, is unprecedented. He has seen series of number of IGPs, but your relationship between him is excellent. Right from the before you even became the regional commander, yes. He knew you. Yes. That this house is part of you. Everything that has to do with his knowledge, you personally take active part. So you are a son to him. You said anytime he calls you, you respond. Even some of the issues pertaining, you don't even wait for him to call. As soon as you move in, and there isn't any issue that you will ask his bodyguard or somebody to call and you do not answer. It's like you are proactive when it comes to his issues. And because of the love he has for you, anytime there is a Quran recitation or prayers in this house, your name and your entire Ummah members are mentioned every day in this mosque.
We taron de ye kafana shekaran je daga headquarters. Taron ya mai kyau shi ma da kwanta ya kwana.
So what happened on Friday at the police headquarters? Aside the praises that came, that day he had a deep sleep because he didn't know it to take that dimension. So he was very happy and grateful to you.
The video iba ya na me ka say o God's General Nyankopon say eja ye fa boni nti obi bo asoma da ne ni fanema no ana say Moses ana Yesu na kan no Yesu na kan nye Moses je o say obi bo ha no ma boni bi ba Yesu je o say obi bo ha no ma da ne ahasoma no nipa ne bo etika Alhaji Papa Angola bo ha de ewe echi hoi eke bia God's General e de boni be che because some ko peace conference ye na enwe peace conference. I said, IGP Kasa was here, National Chief Imam, a software, a Kasa, a papa, honorable, a free anchor. I don't know we are in charge of interministerial for religious and then. And so Kasa, a hobby. God's General was shaking as near dear. Nothing you by ya. God's General said, be. On fanche. Now, a ben one say IGP bets now honorable. Now, on your she, emphasize some way. Now, Mobile for IGP. Now when the IGP Kakosha National Chief Imam office. Now Alhaji Papa Angola be butu aro na patch no. O my yet say asem na dey foolish case. Dey be. Asem be anyone be foolish case because ono on trigger obia or Ghana has say.
Numbers. Nobody have the right to arrest God's General. I have been advocating for peace for how many years? And you guys have the right to humiliate me this manner. And you want me to just allow it go scot-free? No! Many people are angry. I want to tell you guys. The whole world is angry. The Christians are angry. I've received calls from across the world. And people are not happy. So, Mr. President, with all the respect that we give you as our leader, we Christians are telling you that the law must take its course. The police commander must be dealt with. The people involved must be dealt with. The Imam must be dealt with. And that is when we will respect you and believe in you more. That yes, we can actually trust the law of the country. So if you are telling me about peace and you don't allow the law to work, what peace are you telling me? What peace are you telling me? If you are telling me about peace and people that are violent, threatening people's life cannot be arrested and jailed, then what peace are you communicating? What peace are you telling us? You are not telling us any peace. You are the one that is the danger. You are the one that is a threat. Look, guys, let me tell you something. Anyone, let me read again. Let me read again. 6. Listen. Peace can only be achieved when the laws of the country is working for those peaceful. Let's continue. 7. Peace can be achieved when the law does not focus on arresting demonstrators, rather giving them the chance to express their pains or grievances. These are some of the pillars that can ensure the peace of the country. The demonstrators should not be arrested. Whether I am shouting, whether I am loud, what matters is my message. What is my message? I said there should be laws that are going to start arresting people that threatening people all over in the country. People that are violent, the law must start picking them. That is my message. Forget about me shouting. Forget about me being loud. The message is the most important. So if you arrest demonstrators, if you keep arresting demonstrators, you are not standing for peace. If you arrest people that demonstrate against your government, against injustice, against corruption, against violence, you are not standing for peace. You are the problem. So all this noise I am making, it is not to tell Christians to go and fight. We have shown you guys, nobody should twist our message. Nobody should lie on Christians. We will never fight anybody. We will never pick matters into our own hands. Stop lying. Stop lying to the people that this pastor will destroy Ghana. He is always inciting Christians against Muslims. Me, when Christians were calling me, were angry, I told them to calm down. They should allow the law to take its course. I was the one telling the Christians to calm down, because we believe that the law will take its course. But every time they want to tell us about peace, they want to talk to us about peace, we that are peace, they still tell us about peace. Go and tell the violence religion. Tell the violence religion. Tell them to stop threatening people. Tell them to stop the violence. Demonstrators must not be arrested. Any country that wants peace must always understand these systems. That people that demonstrate, we must pay attention to what they are saying. We must listen to their lamentation. We must listen to their frustration. We must listen to their grievances, and then jot things down and see the way forward. We shouldn't arrest demonstrators and say they are causing fear and panic. What fear? They are telling you reality. They are telling you reality that can destroy the peace that you guys are preaching. The peace that you have been preaching, we are telling you we can lose this peace. And you are telling us that we are the one going to destroy the peace. How is it possible that I am telling you you can lose your peace and I am the one going to destroy the peace? How is that possible? Me that I'm telling you you can lose your peace, I am the same person going to destroy the peace. How? How am I going to destroy the peace? If I am the one telling you to put measure in place so that you can enjoy peace, how am I going to be the one? So no Christian should allow anybody should tell you that we should be peaceful. No, we are peaceful. The law must work. That is all we are asking. So my brothers and sisters who don't know what really happened, this is what happened. And from today, a lot of teachings are going to be imparted into the system. And we are going to work hand in hand with our leaders for people to understand that peace is the most important thing in this country. And peace does not come by when people are talking about it. Peace does not come by when there is issues and there is handshake. Peace does not come by when we sweep issues under the carpet. Peace only comes when the law take its course. Peace only comes when corruption is destroyed. Peace only comes when we deal with violence people. That is how peace is achieved. That is my message. So how did it end? I was arrested, humiliated, was slapped, all because I advocate for the arrest of a man who used a violence worse. That is why I was arrested. And for those who don't know this, let me tell you guys, I am not a Kotokoli. I am not the man that triggered the Imam. The Imam audio is talking about an ex-Muslim. I am not an ex-Muslim. I haven't been a Muslim before. My mother is not a Kotokoli. My father is not a Kotokoli. The Imam video is talking about a Kotokoli man who was once a Muslim and left the religion and became a traditionalist. And the Muslims went to mock the traditional worship. And the traditional worship people also mock Muhammad. And that is what made the Imam said what he said. God's general is not that Kotokoli man. I am not the one that triggered the Imam. It was all an agenda. It was all an agenda to humiliate the revivalists, the advocate for peace. It is an agenda. I don't know anything about this issue. I haven't met that Imam before. I have not spoken to him before. I have not replied to his video before. I don't even know what this Imam is. So those who don't know, many people have done videos, TV stations. We are going to tell them to drop all the videos and apologize. All the TV stations, all the radio stations that came out to make false publications that the man of God was the one that triggered the Imam, we are writing them letters. We are going to serve them letter for them to come out and apologize for publishing wrong information that the man of God is the one that triggered the Imam.
On trigger obia or Ghana ha. And you're not trigger shake no. And a Ghana police is what arrested no. Or more arrested we na so be born as one. Most of them are chopper. On fanche. A chopper in the Bible. Let me say
Muslim man must be arrested. And they set this agenda. So those who want to know what is going on, I have received a lot of calls. This is the truth and this is the fact. My ministry is to rebut, is to reply to what Muslims say about Christians, what they say about Jesus, what they say about our faith. So when you look at my reply and you have a problem, check what they said before I replied. That is what reasonable people do. What they said before I replied is what you should check. Do that check. But now we are not going to give them any reason anymore. They say I insult. Whilst I am quoting their book, I'm going to prove to the president of the country, the IGP, the ministers of the country, Christian Council, Peace Council, Pentecostal Council, African, Pan-African Clergy Council, that everything that we say is in their book. It is not an insult. We will give all of you the evidence. And after we've given you the evidence, you guys will now understand that Christians are only defending the country by exposing what is in their book. We are not insulting anybody. They are the ones saying things that are not in our Bible. And we come back and reply to them. And when we reply to them, they cry to the public that we are insulting them. That is what they do. So, with all due respect, again, I am not the one behind the video. I didn't do anything to that Imam. I have nothing to do with it. All the TV stations and the radio stations, we are going to serve them letters for them to come out and apologize for those statements that the man of God was the one behind. It's not true. Because if it comes to arrest, then UTI Dawa must also be arrested. Because he is the one that have said a lot of painful things about Christians. But we didn't say anything. We were just replying to them. We were just replying to them. So it has nothing to do with the words that I was using in my videos. They've said worse things. We that are in the apologetic, we understand the rules. You come out and you debunk and you what? You debunk the claims with knowledge. But the Imam issue, nobody knows it. We have never met him before. We don't know that Imam. We have never replied to his video. His video just came out that he wants to kill someone. And we have to come out that the leaders must arrest him. That is all. So the media that doesn't know, this is the information. It was not me that triggered the Imam. It was a Kotokoli ex-Muslim who became a traditionalist. He is the one that said something that triggered the Imam. He is the one. So those that still are not getting the information, this is the information. Now let me continue and wrap up. Let me continue and wrap up. I was arrested. They took me to the commander's office. You saw the videos. I was slapped. I never said anything because the agenda was to beat me and wound me in my own country, in police headquarters. They plotted to beat me and wound me. And most of the people are still publishing lies and jubilating that I was slapped. So, Mr. President, if these people are still jubilating, they are jubilating that I was slapped, the law must take its course. You see what is going on? People are not seeing it. Imagine Christians are like them. No, just imagine Christians are like them. You will not even get the opportunity to preach peace. But thank be to God, Christians are peaceful and we are not like them. So they are jubilating that I receive a slap, but I am also jubilating that Christians do not take matters into their hands. That is the jubilating side of the story. That when I received the slap, we did not take matters into our hands like they do. Like they always do. And when it comes to peace, they will be the first to show up. When it comes to peace, they will be the first to show up. But they cannot stop telling their followers to stop violence and to stop threatening. But when it comes to peace gathering, they will be the first to show up. We don't want you to gather anybody for peace. Tell your people to stop threatening people. Stop the violence character. We will beat you. We will do this. Let them stop that. That is how we achieve peace. If you cannot tell them to stop the beating of people, the slapping of people, the threatening of people, the law will arrest all of you in this country. Because we believe in the law. We will not take matters into our hands. We will make sure the law take its course. When it comes to gathering for peace, they are the first to show up. But when it comes to violence, you are the first to show up. When it comes to threatening people, you are the first to show up. Change your ways so that we can enjoy the peace of the country. If you don't like something somebody said, it's either you leave it to God or you take it to the police station. It is two methods. If someone says something you don't like, leave it to God or take it to police station. Because the Bible says you can forgive. But the Bible also says God has appointed people that will deal with injustice, evil, wicked people in Romans chapter 13. So if you cannot take it, go to police station. But as a religious person, you should know better. As a religious person, you should know better that religion is about peace. So if the religion is making you intolerance, violence, you should know that that religion is not from God. If that religion is making you intolerance, violence, you should know it's not from God. But if you cannot take it, report to the police or leave it for your God. These are the two methods. If you really love peace, these are the way to go. When anybody said anything against your God or your religion, you can report them to police or you can leave them for God. That is how you can achieve peace. Okay? That's my little advice I can give them. But calling conferences and meeting here and there, whenever Muslims will go and trigger things, they will go and say things, they will threaten the peace of the country. Then we will gather and then be taking pictures and give speeches that we want peace. What peace? Arrest those people doing those things. Start arresting them. Jail them 20 years, 100 years, 50 years. They will stop. Stop gathering peace conferences and make sure you pass laws to arrest people that go around threatening people. Arrest them. If we continue to look for ways to sweep things under the carpet, we will not enjoy the peace. So this is my short message. I stayed in police cells for almost a day, half a day. So they took me to another police station. They leave me there. We couldn't even sleep because we were sleeping in a half bowl. So the next day, I heard that the whole Ghanaians have waken up and are speaking against the matter. The whole world is speaking for my release, and glory be to God. They came for me to the headquarters, and then our brothers signed my bail. That was how I was released. But you should understand that we are taking the matter on. The law must take its course. The Imam and the police itself, we are taking them on, and the matters are in the hands of our lawyers. I will not say anything about the issue because the lawyers are already working on the matter. So, my brothers and sisters, let us all calm down and trust that the law will take its course. So, if you have not been seeing me for the past 1 week, this is the issue at hand. I was arrested by the police, was beaten, slapped by the Muslims who were not police, but they came there to humiliate me. But God being so good, this story has revived the whole country.
Bible ya me will be where God's general. But God's general said be freedom and justice, no, it will hold for a reason. Say freedom, baby, this justice has prevailed. I in Gossip 24. Also, I doing anything. When God's general, I doing. And I also say we inquire on J. Mumanenka. Chewadring, our comment section.